Hello everybody, so if you follow me on Facebook, you already know kind of what this video is about, but basically if you're new or have missed it, I'm going to be starting a new series of makeup videos alongside my how-to, which there'll be more content coming to that one. But these ones are going to come by me doing my makeup as usual, but I'm also going to be telling you about Black history, because the recent events and riots and just basically everything that's going on is just highlighted to me that people just don't know through no fault of their own. Some people through no fault of their own, where it's just not taught in school. The parents might just not have told them or whatever. They just didn't. Anything that's other than slavery, people don't really know about, or the big Black figures in history like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, and Rosa Parks. Apart from them, people are just like for instance, did you know it was a black man that made peanut butter? I think he made over 100 uses for peanut butter. Did you know that it was a black dude? Yeah, so if you're racist and you're like, black people this, black people that, N-word this, N-word that, but then you're spreading peanut butter on your bread, know that it was one of us that made that peanut butter. You get me? Right, so that's what this series is about. So I am just going to be picking famous people, not famous people, whoever, and I'm going to be talking about them from the research that I've done. And today's, if you can see me looking down, it's because I've got my notes. So today's black person of importance, or that made a mark, or that dropped a pebble in the pond and it made a wave. Do you know what I mean? So that's the kind of people, even though it might be the only tiniest little thing that they did, it was important, and it was important for the fact that it brought us one step closer to being equal. Right, so he is called Jack Johnson. Let me grab my foundation. So Jack Johnson became the first African American man to be the heavyweight champion in 1908 and held on to that until 1915. He was nicknamed the Gravestone Giant, and he was born in Texas, 1878. He became the first African American to win the world heavyweight crown when he knocked out the reigning champ, Tommy Burns. He continued to box until he was into his 50s. And yeah, obviously my new week. Nice. Right, into his 50s. But then he died in a car accident in North Carolina in 1946. Which was a shame. Anyway, let's deep a bit further in. So, real name Arthur Jack Johnson was born on March 31st, 1878 in Glaveston, I think I'm pronouncing that right, Glaveston, Texas. The son of ex-slaves, and he was the third of 9 children. Johnson possessed an air of confidence and drive to succeed beyond the hardships of his life that his parents had known, if that makes sense. He didn't want to be in a position where everything was just hard, like it was a struggle. Now, obviously, he's the son of ex-slaves, so all they've ever known is just hardship after hardship, and he didn't want that. So he initially worked as a labourer to support his family, to make some money, to bring money in. Which was a big chunk of his childhood, actually. He worked a lot as a child. In fact, he spent working on boats and in the sculleries in Glaveston, my bad. Right. Base is nice and blended out. Right, eyebrows. Do you know what? I'll be back after I've done my eyebrows. So, by the age of 16, he was on his own. He was travelling New York, and then later went to Boston before returning home. I've forgotten. Not shortly after that, that's when his first fight started. Right, so the fight would be with someone who was like him, a longshoreman, which is someone who works on the docks. Even though the money wasn't great, I think it's $1.50 at the time. I mean, it probably would have been a lot back then, maybe, but not really a lot. He couldn't wait, jumped on the chance. But not long after that fight, he earned $25 for managed to stick out 4 rounds against a professional boxer. To say he was an amateur, 4 rounds is a big deal. Like for his first ever fight, well, second fight that would have been for the $25. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's a big deal. Anyway, so moving on, and I'm also moving on. Let's get some eyeshadow base on the go. So, in the early 1900s, Johnson, by the way, is 6'2". And that's where he got his nickname from, the Gravestone Giant. He made a name for himself in the black boxing circuit fighting other black people, but he was like, this ain't good enough. It was just like, I want that heavyweight champion title, so I need to fight this dude, James F. Jeffries, in which to get it. But the dude was like, I'm not fighting him. I'm not fighting. He's a black guy. Do you know what I mean? No. He wouldn't spar with anyone that was of colour. So, So. 1 second. Anyway, now that my eye base is done. So Johnson's talents and his bravado was just too much to ignore. So it got to the point on December 26, 1908, the flamboyant Johnson, who often taunted his opponents as he beat them soundly, got his chance for the title. When champion Tommy Burns fought him outside Sydney, Australia. Burns, who had succeeded Jeffries as champion, had only agreed to fight Johnson after promoters guaranteed him $30,000. The fight, which novelist Jack London attended and wrote about for a New York newspaper, lasted until the 14th round, when police had to step in to end the fight. But crazy. And then after that, Johnson was named the winner. It was clear. Clear. But that wasn't enough for Johnson. He wanted more. And he kept calling Jeffries out. Kept calling him out. He wanted to fight him. So, I'm not very good at this, clearly. July. So Jeffries eventually agreed, stepped into the ring with him. Then on July 4th, 1910, he finally did. Dubbed the fight the fight of the century, with more than 22,000 eager fans turned out in the arena in Nevada. After 15 rounds, Johnson came away victorious, affirming his domain over the boxing and future and further angering white boxer fans who hated seeing a black man hold the title. So, by the way, everything that I'll be using today will be in the description box below. Jeffries was humbled by the loss, and what he'd seen of his opponent. And he said, "I could never have whipped Johnson at my best." He said, "I couldn't even hit him. No, I couldn't even reach him in 1,000 years." For the fight, Johnson earned $117,000, which was an insane amount of money back then. But it would be 5 years after that the heavyweight title would have been relinquished, as he fell to another boxer called Jess Willard. But it was a 26-round fight in Cuba. But after that, he continued to box for another 12 years after that. But then, like I said earlier, he hung up his boxing gloves at the age of 50, which the year would have been... I didn't put the year down. But yeah, it was 50, which I feel like it's quite a long time to be boxing. But I don't really follow boxing, so I don't really know. So let me know if you know if that's like a good age to retire, if you went beyond like the normal standard age to be fighting, if you know what I mean. So, let's do some boxing facts while we're here of Mr. Johnson. While I blend this pure out. Right. Fact number uno. Well, his boxing record. So, in total, Johnson's record includes 73 wins, 40 of them would just be straight out knockouts, one punch, you're down. 13 losers, 10 draws, and 5 no contests, which I'm not sure what that means. 1 second. So no contest means that something unusual has happened, which means the fight can't go on. Like, it rained outside. If it was like an outdoor match, it rained. So it's not just for boxing this term is used, it's used in other sports. So that's an example of like something happened which stopped the fight commencing. So, as I was saying, get my notes back. But because he was such a well-known and so accomplished and won some big money, his name became big in boxing. But with all this fame came more attention from the white community. They hated seeing him succeed. And they wanted to see him ruined. So But he really didn't help the situation because... Oh, I don't know what colour I'm going to use. What's that? Right, okay. Because he'd go around flashing his money, making a scene, you know, living this lavish lifestyle. And because at this time, you also got to remember, at this point, there was the racial rules as well. Like, he still had, but he weren't following it, any of it. He didn't care. For instance, he dated multiple white women. And at the time, that's like, oh, what? Like, you just making yourself a target at that point. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's how it was in that time. He married a white woman. Name escapes me. One sec. He married a white woman. I don't think I wrote it down. Anyway, married a white woman. He bought lavish cars. He spent his money all willy-nilly and what have you. And it all went tits up. It all went tits up when he got arrested for violating the Man's Act. The Mann Act for bringing a white girlfriend across state lines before they're married. So, straight to jail. Bye-bye. All for dating a white woman. See, me right now, I've got a white heart partner. That would have been me, gone, in jail, done. But before they could actually get him in jail, he fled to Europe. He escaped. Which, at the time, probably saved his life, because prisons, in general, aren't great. And back then, even now probably still, they were using any excuse to get black people in prison. Which I'll cover on another video, but basically... So basically, used to get hung from trees, used to get chased down, dragged behind vehicles, whatever. But when it came into law that you couldn't do that and that it's a arrestable offence, they had to find other ways to keep us segregated, keep us at a lower station than white people and whatever. So they were finding any which way loophole they could to make sure that we stayed oppressed. Anyway, another video. That's a long, long thing, that one. Anyway, so we stayed a fugitive for 7 years. And, sorry, one sec. Stayed a fugitive for 7 years and he returned to the United States in 1920, and then he did eventually serve his sentence. Which, you know what I mean, good for him, because he didn't have to come back. I mean, yeah, it was 7 years, and yeah, you may say, like, he was still a criminal, and that he should have just gone to jail and served his time in the first place, but imagine being in his shoes. And you might think he brought it on himself, with the way he was living and the disregard for the rules that were back then. So yeah, I can see both sides. But fortunately, I was born in a time where I don't have to fully understand what he went through, because it is slightly better than what it was in that regards to interracial marriage, into, you know, being arrested for something simple as just being in love. Like, my kids wouldn't exist, more than likely. Do you know what I mean? Like, if it was back then in that time. Anyway, I digress. So when he died, it came to an unfortunate end in June 10th, 1946, when he was in a car accident. There's not a lot documented on the car accident that I could find. So by all means, if you know the actual situation, please let me know. But otherwise, it just says car accident. So, Then. So yeah, I have written about his wives. So he had 3 spouses altogether. I believe all of whom were white women, which caused a lot of controversy, like I've just said. But he didn't care, he weren't bothered. He liked his white women. And his first marriage was in 1911 to a Brooklyn socialite and divorcee Etta Terry Durvia, Durvea, Durvea, French. I don't know. Their relationship was anything but stable, and Durvea, bless her heart, suffered from depression, and she ended up committing suicide in 1912. And back then, mental health wasn't, known, they weren't really spoke of, and if you did show any signs of being like mentally unstable or anything like that, you were just put into like a mental hospital. So anyway, and then after her, like literally a few months after she died, he went straight on to the next woman. So, like I was saying, a couple of months after she died, he married another woman called Lucille Cameron. But she only stayed married to him for a couple of months and divorced him in 1924 because of his philandering. A year after that, he married Irene Pineau, 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 and the couple remained together until he died in 1946. So since his death, obviously a lot has changed in the way of laws and what's seen as culturally wrong, what's seen as like, what's acceptable, what's not acceptable, blah, blah, blah. So since his death, all the crimes that sorry, I've lost my blush and it's driving me backwards to where I put it. So I'm going to have to dip into an old blush, I reckon. Yeah, sorry. So since his death, all the crimes that he allegedly did, crossing the state lines with a white woman before he made her his wife, that has been... what's the word? That has been... It's seen as a racial bias because of the law that was then and because of the laws that are now. But in 1970, Johnson was portrayed by an actor, James Earl Jones. I haven't seen the film, but I do know James Earl Jones, so I might have to because I do like him, so I might have to give him a watch. In the film adaptation, The Great White Hope, which was sourced from another play. because of that film, based on Johnson's life, they did receive Oscar nominations, which just must mean it's good, innit? It must mean... Did they win the Oscar? No, just the nomination, didn't win Oscars. But 20 years after the film, 20 years after the film, 20 years after the film, Johnson was put into the Boxers Hall of Fame. Into the International Boxing Hall of Fame, And his life also became the subject of acclaimed of a documentary by the guy called Ken Burns, if I could get my words out, which was in 2004. So that is Jack Johnson. If you could bear to listen past all my gibberish, tongue-tying, stuttering words. I like this dude because he was unapologetically doing himself. Do you know what I mean? He was just going around. At the time, he would have come across probably like a dickhead, by my French, coming across like, you know, you doing this is going to cause trouble for the rest of us type of situation. But because he did what he did, it took a little step in the right direction. Do you know what I mean? I like the dude. As soon as I read the story, I was just like, he's the kind of guy that people should know about. Like, there's many historical figures, obviously, that I will be covering. But I liked his because some ways... Oh, yeah, so I was about to compare myself to him. No, because I'm not a boxer, no, nothing. But I do have a white partner, and I know what it's like to walk down the street and have people stare at you because you with... Because it more than likely would be because this white man is dating a black girl and they've got mixed babies. That is probably what it comes down to. But I do also, I'm quite, in my appearance, can have, well, colourful wigs on, colourful clothing on, quite, do you know what I mean? My hair is either afro and it's big and it's out there. So I might be getting stares because of that, but you just don't know. And because of my past experiences, the first thing I go to is, they're looking at us because we are in a mixed relationship. Well, let me get some highlight on before I finish. I'd love to know your opinion on Jack Johnson, whether you think what he was doing was in the right step, or you think he was just being a big showboating idiot who just wanted to cause controversy in the time. Or if, you know, you feel like what he did, you know, was just him trying to live his life the way he wanted to. So, guys, where's my lip gloss? I can't find my lip gloss. Right. That's fine. We'll put this nude on. And if you can hear that ruckus, that is my mum and kids. Right, guys, by the way, do you like my wig? I think sometimes how your hair is and the colour of your hair can just completely change the way you look and your whole vibe. Do you know what I mean? Like, usually, for a while I've been having my afro out, but usually the wigs I go for, well, my last wig that I had for a long time was just black. And it didn't really have, I mean, I loved it, and can go, black goes with anything, do you know what I mean? But sometimes you just need that pop of colour. And anybody that knows me knows that most of my life, well, my adult life in which I could do what I want with my hair, my mum not say anything. She had no control. I've had colour, but yeah, I'm vibing this. I think it goes with the look. It came into a dead curly bed big, but I weren't feeling it, so I put straighteners through it. It is synthetic, but it is a heat resistant blend, so you can have the straighteners and curlers on it. As you can see, I've been experimenting. So yes, guys, this is today's look. If you liked this video, if you like this video, please share it. Like and comment who you want to hear about or see in a video that is black or even POC, person of colour, people of colour, who people need to know about in history. Anybody, absolutely anybody. And I will do my research and I will get it on a video. So yes, please share, like and comment and subscribe, all that good stuff, and I will see you next time.